What up, what up? How y'all doing today? Thank you for joining me for Messy Ministries episode 5. Today we're going to be talking about none other than the Bling Bishop. And that would be Bishop Lamar Whitehead. Hi, Gold Digger. Welcome to the show. So yesterday, I really wanted to do the show yesterday, but my evening got a little crazy. So I'm just getting around to doing it today. But I chose Mr. Whitehead because he was recently sentenced to 9 years in prison due to his messy ministry, some unsavory things that he had been doing within his congregation, and we're gonna get right into it. I think that first and foremost, or I know what, we'll start here with the actual article that led me to making Bishop Whitehead our episode 5. So give me 1 second and I'll pull this up and we'll get into it. Hey Candy, welcome to the chat, boo. Yes, girl, we are finally getting around to talking about Mr. Bling Bishop. So today, the question is going to be, is he guilty or set up? Because this man swears that the world is setting him up. Hey, Cassandra, welcome to the chat. Give me 1 second. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get started with this messy minister. Okay, let me see if you guys can see. Okay, perfect. So again, just to recap, I chose Mr. Whitehead for episode 5 because of his current legal woes. I'm going to read this article that was shared by the Neighborhood Talk. So shout out to the Neighborhood Talk for this tea for today. And then after that, we'll go over to RRG, our favorite commentator for Messy Ministry. They can give us the backstory on Mr. Bishop Whitehead, and then, we can look at some of his other messiness and some other videos that I have. So this article says, neighbors, it looks like Whitehead will be exchanging his bishop title for inmate number 98765. According to Daily News, Lamar Whitehead was sentenced to 9 years in prison Monday for swindling a parishioner's mother out of her life savings and other scams. We previously reported that he was found guilty of wire fraud, attempted extortion, lying to the FBI, and related charges stemming from 3 separate schemes. The defendant was trusted by many in his community. He was the bishop of a small church in Brooklyn and a self-described businessman. He was a friend to the mayor of New York City, said Assistant U.S. Attorney Jessica Greenwood. She says Whitehead abused the trust of his congregation and lied to them about knowing powerful figures in Hollywood, all so he could get his little greedy hands on their money. What makes this even sadder is that he targeted an elderly mother of one of his members. He convinced her to give him $90,000 of her life savings. Dear God. Per the report, he promised to use the money to buy a fixer-upper home that he would renovate for her to live in, and she believed the defendant, a man who by that time had become a mentor and spiritual advisor to her son. He didn't do any of that though. He spent the money on designer clothes and a BMW instead. He even tried to extort a car repairman for a $5,000 job. His schemes didn't stop there. He even created fake bank documents to get a $250,000 loan. Church members will have to pay their tithes and offerings via JPay now. They know they're wrong for that. Okay. Let me see. 1 second. All right. Cassandra said that man is guilty as hell. He guilty as hell and going to hell for all this that he done did, girl. So let's get right into it. 1 second. I think the first video I pulled up, they got a lot of videos on him. I hope this is it. I think this is the RRG. That's the one.
Help from National Debt Relief. Getting started is easy, and the process has already helped over 500,000 people and counting.
Called immediately. Congratulations, you qualify to be a part of the National Debt Relief Program. I cried. I'm debt free. Wow, I can't thank National Debt Relief enough.
Find out if you're eligible today. Click the link.
Okay. This is it, guys.
25. Help a ninja out. I mean, your pastor. Help your pastor out, damn it.
Let me pull this back. We'll go right past them talking about their little snacks. We'll start here. So, again, video credit to RRG, and I will link their media credit
Is
in
Juanita
the
buying them
detail.
nuttier than peanut brittle? Hell yeah, I'm ready. Bishop Lamar Whitehead was born on April 30th, 1978 in Brooklyn. A Taurus. I know it's this. Shh. Okay, girl, go ahead. When he was just 6 weeks old, his father, 30-year-old Arthur Miller, lost his life after a police officer administered a fatal chokehold with his baton. Many years later, Lamar told the New York Daily News, "These officers took some of my future away. I don't hate police. I hate the spirit of racism."
June 14th, 1978. He was brutally strangled to death by the police department, the NYPD. I was 6 weeks old when he died. And you never know how it affects you until you don't have it. I just really wanted to come on today briefly just to remember my father. His name was Arthur Miller. And
but come to find out, Arthur ain't even Lamar's pappy. Say what now? Well, that's according to Arthur's real family.
I just needed to stop it there because old boy came out the gate line. I just needed to point that out. But anyway, let's get back to it.
It's getting messy already, and I love it. In news articles published in the wake of Arthur's passing, his widow revealed that she and Arthur shared 4 children between the ages of 8 and 16, and Lamar was only 6 weeks old at the time the incident occurred. The math ain't mathing, honey. Arthur's youngest child, Lolisa, black folk will name their children anything, won't they? Lolisa told the New York Daily News that Lamar contacted her much later in life. He introduced himself as her half-brother and inquired about a settlement the family received from Arthur's wrongful death. According to Lolisa, Lamar then asked for some money so he could buy a Toyota Camry. I know you motherfucking lying. You better catch that bus, ninja. Since Arthur never signed Lamar's birth certificate and Lamar wasn't included in his will, Lolisa asked him to take a DNA test to prove his claim. According to Lolisa, Lamar hung up in her face. He said, hold on.
So you know he was lying. I just wanted to point that out.
Let me introduce you to somebody, Mr. Click. The New York Daily News reached out to Lamar's mother. However, she didn't return their calls. So yeah, we're barely scratching the surface of Lamar's life story, and it's already a hot, stinking mess. According to New York Mag, Lamar attended Eastern New Mexico University, where he studied accounting and videography. Upon his return to Brooklyn, he dabbed in acting and modeling. Modeling? He recorded a few hip-hop songs before becoming a mortgage broker. According to New York Mag, things were going great for him. He even bought a $487,000 house in New Jersey. But then everything went left. To the left, to the left. In 2004, a woman named Kylie Copeland was arrested for her involvement in an identity theft scheme. After doing some digging, authorities believed Kylie was working with or for Lamar in some capacity. So they started their search to hunt him down. They didn't catch up to him until 2005, when a woman told the police that someone bought a motorcycle in Brooklyn in her name. A few days later, an officer pulled over a man wearing a pimp-style red and white waist-length mink jacket in a stolen vehicle. What? What? Fix it, Jesus. Please tell me y'all got an image. Honey? The driver turned out to be Lamar, of course. From there, his web of lies began to unravel.
So we starting here with, okay, first he lied about his daddy. Now he is doing identity theft. Okay, so let's go back.
According to the authorities, Lamar's then-girlfriend worked at a Long Island car dealership. She had access to customers' credit reports, and she kept her computer login information on a piece of paper at her house. Girl, that's rule number one. You don't keep that information just laying around. What the hell wrong with you? Lamar used the info to log into her account and steal the identities of at least a dozen people. He reportedly stole close to $2 million in his identity theft scam. A detective for the police department said, he was very, very good. He's a high roller. He was living the high life. He's got a couple of girlfriends. That sounds fun as hell. Instead of preparing for his trial, where he was facing 17 counts of identity theft, sources claim Lamar spent his time pulling more scammy scams. According to the New York Times, he was still working as a mortgage broker when he offered to help a man and his son purchase a brownstone in Harlem. Lamar closed the deal, and then he reached out to the man privately with a business proposal. If you give me $200,000, I can pay you back in a month, and I'll throw in an extra $25,000. For real, man? That sounds too good to be true. I don't know, Lamar. I'm gonna pay you back. I want to do it, but I'm kind of nervous. I don't even have that kind of cash on me. I'll have to take out a line of credit and just figure it out. And don't worry, I'm gonna pay you back, and I'll throw in an extra 25 racks on top. I don't know, Lamar. Would I lie to you, man? Give me the money, Ninja. Damn. Well, all right. The man took out a line of credit on his home and gave Lamar the money. In 2006, Lamar filed for bankruptcy, and the man saw his $200,000 go down the toilet. Somebody pass him some toilet paper. The man later
First of all, why would you just give somebody $200,000? Hey, MEP, welcome to the show. Why would you just give somebody $200,000? That's crazy.
took the matter to court and received a judgment of $306,000. The following year, another man sued Lamar after claiming Lamar stole $19,000 from him after selling a Brooklyn home. In 2008, Lamar was found guilty of the identity theft charges and was sentenced to 10 to 30 years behind bars. Lamar was released in 2013 on good behavior, and weeks after being a free man, he founded his church, the Leaders of Tomorrow International Ministry. He told the New York Times, "I have a calling, and I had to do what I had to do." Oh, hell, well, we all seen that you did what you did, so I hope that you doing what you got to do ain't as messy as that. For those
Now, I'm gonna be the first one to say that God can change, can change anybody's heart, right? But I ain't finna be the first parishioner to sign up to be in your flock as soon as you come out of jail. That's just wild. That's my opinion though. I'm just saying.
Those who thought his prison stint played a part in his new path, they were wrong. According to the bishop, he was ordained as a minister before he was hauled off to the slammer. Oh, okay. Now, unlike some of the other pastors we featured in our megachurch messiness series, Lamar appears to have a firm grasp of the word. But he's kind of like other pastors in terms of what he preaches, which is the prosperity gospel, of course. For those who are unaware, the prosperity gospel is the belief that God rewards the faithful with material wealth and health. Lamar told the New York Mag that he doesn't promise wealth to his parishioners. He said, I tell you how to get in alignment with the word of God, so therefore you can be in the position of the blessing. It wasn't uncommon for him to pull up to the church in a Rolls Royce or a Bentley. And he would stand at the pulpit wearing ice around his neck and wrists and Gucci from head to toe. The tacky tabernacle.
And that's how he got his name, the Bling Bishop.
Honey. According to the New York Times, at the end of his lengthy sermons, he would pick up a stack of empty envelopes and invite worshipers to sow into the ministry with donations. He started with a request of $500 to $1,000 to get things rolling. And if there were no takers, he lowered the amount. Can I get $250? How about $100? $50? Anybody got $50? Honey? You can't afford to give me $50? Y'all ninjas broke. Don't nobody got a 50 on them? I need to fill up the Bentley on the way home. You better catch that bus. Give me 50, 25. Help a ninja out. I mean, your pastor. Help your pastor out, damn it. It's unclear how many members were tithing, but according to the bishop, he wasn't making any money from the church. Lamar began rubbing elbows with many influential people, including hip-hop artists and Eric Adams, who was a New York State senator at the time. Eric became Lamar's mentor, and he told the New York Mag they bonded over the story involving Lamar's late father. That ain't his damn daddy.
Exactly. How they gonna bond over a lie? Make it make sense.
Their friendship continued after Eric was elected as Brooklyn Borough president in 2013. Lamar would later appear at more than a dozen high-profile events alongside Eric. Eric even introduced Lamar at a concert as his good friend and good brother. He also gave Lamar's mom an honorary citation, and he gave Lamar's cousin the key to Brooklyn. Oh, and in case you're wondering, Lamar's cousin just so happens to be Foxy Brown. Not the ill nana. In a subsequent press conference, Eric said he would stand by Lamar's side despite his criminal history. He compared Lamar's rap sheet to his own arrest as a teenager when NYPD officers beat him after he broke into a woman of the night's home. You mean a hoe? She's a hoe. I said that she's a hoe. Hoe! Shh, listen to the rest of the story. As he gained more notoriety and deepened his connections, Lamar gave more interviews about his life story. Of course, the interviews always started with Lamar talking about his father, Arthur Miller.
Check this out. I'm going to show you how I afforded this car.
1 second, guys.
Okay, you ready? All right, 100.
Okay.
That ain't his damn pappy. That ain't his damn pappy. Arthur's daughter, Lolisa, saw some of the interviews, and she reached out to a local TV station that was set to air a story about Lamar and her father. Lolisa told New York Mag she told the station she opposed the story, and apparently word got back to Lamar. Lolisa said Lamar called her and allegedly told her he was going to F her up. I'ma fuck you up, sis. Lamar denies her allegation. Shortly after their phone call, Lolisa received a call from Mayor Eric Adams. According to Lolisa, Eric promised to support the foundation her family was going to start in her late father's honor. He also promised to present her mother with a proclamation. Child, please don't tell me the mayor was trying to bribe Lolisa in support of Lamar's crazy ass. Please don't.
That's exactly what it sounds like. This is crazy, y'all. Okay.
Tell me that. Eric gave Lolisa his cell phone number and told her to reach out anytime. However, according to Lolisa, Eric never bothered to follow up with her. She said, "I'm not asking you for money. I'm not asking you for a donation. I'm not asking you to sign nothing. All I'm asking you to do is get your protege in check and just ask him to please leave us alone. That's it."
Hey, Tina.
In July 2015, Lamar was arrested for allegedly hitting his 7-year-old son. The case was dropped after officials found no probable cause to prosecute. But months later, Lamar was arrested for violating an order of protection. According to the New York Post, no information was available because the case had been sealed. In 2016, he was consecrated as a bishop in the Lord's Church. That's the same year he met a woman named Asia, whom he reportedly married and has children with. According to sources, she's the bishop's second wife. They became a blended family with Lamar's children, who were conceived prior to their marriage. 2016 was also the year that the New York Post decided to turn the heat up on Lamar's ass.
Lord, this is finna get messy.
The publication reported that Lamar used his connection to Mayor Eric Adams to bring awareness to his youth mentorship program. The publication alleged that Lamar had allegedly been raising funds for the program before he legally registered it as a business. He even promoted a non-existent collaborative justice initiative between the Brooklyn District Attorney's Office and his youth program. When the DA office found out, they sent him a cease and desist.
Keep our office out your mouth.
He also allegedly claimed to have a partnership with the NYPD and the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce. Both denied that they were partnering with him on any initiatives.
Sit his lying ass.
By 2000,
Sound like the only person that was really down for him was the mayor. And I guess he was trying to get all these other people on board, but it wasn't working.
In 2019, Lamar allegedly stopped making payments on his Mercedes and a Range Rover and got slapped with a $68,000 judgment. And then he wrote a bad check for $164,000 to the company that built his new home in New Jersey.
Oh, Lord. How the pastor going to be writing rubber checks? I can't.
Fix it, Jesus.
First of all, who taking $164,000 checks around here? Where they do that at? This brings us to 2020, when Lamar's tomfoolery was all the way turned up. A woman named Pauline Anderson visited his church while she was recovering from surgery, and Lamar offered to help her buy a new house.
Don't do it, girl. Don't do it.
You'll really do that for me, Bishop Whitehead? Really? Yes, Sister Pauline. You know, as a man of God, it's my duty to tap that booty. It's my duty to make sure my parishioners are taken care of. Wow, Bishop. Thank you so much. Yeah. God is good. Hallelujah. Yeah. Go on ahead with all that. Just send me the money, okay? Talk to you later. Gotta go. Bye. Hello, Bishop? Are you there? According to court documents, Pauline withdrew $90,000 from her retirement account and sent it to Lamar. He then sent her a text message that read, "I am a man of integrity and you will not lose." Apparently, Pauline started having second thoughts and asked if she could have her money back. But Lamar said it was too late and the money had already been invested. At the same time, Lamar was reportedly under contract to buy a $4.4 million house in Saddle River, New Jersey, complete with a gym, a pool, and a wine cellar.
That's where your $90,000 went, Pauline. You done bought that ninja a house.
That was his down payment.
On May 25th, 2020, George Floyd was murdered by the police. Lamar took the tragic incident as an opportunity to shed light on the killing of his own father, Arthur Miller.
That
the one that's not his daddy.
ain't that man's daddy. Damn, that ain't that man's daddy. That ain't that man's daddy.
We can't confirm the exact date, but we do know that Lamar also started referring to himself as Lamar M. Whitehead at some point. The M stands for Miller, which is Arthur Miller's last name, of course. And sometimes Lamar even hyphenates his name as Lamar Miller Whitehead.
This ninja is crazy. This ninja crazy as hell. You would think Arthur Miller was some kind of damn celebrity the way he was holding on to this dude.
It's hard to piece.
They ain't lying, because I ain't never heard of Arthur Miller. Put a 1 in the chat if you ever heard of Arthur Miller before, because I know I haven't. The way he using this man's name. No ones? I ain't think so. Let me look at some of these comments. Tita say he broke book but stealing. Leave him locked up. Gold digger. She didn't check his background before she gave up her life savings. That part. Boy, I swear to God, people be so gullible. You definitely got to do your checks and balances when you're giving out that type of money. That's just crazy. Anyway, let's get back to this video.
Piece together the next series of events since most of the evidence has been scrubbed from the internet. But from what the New York Post has reported, Lamar had some sort of interaction with Arthur Miller's family in 2020, and things didn't go smoothly. Lamar reportedly took to his Facebook and wrote a scathing message directed toward the Miller family. The message read, "I am Bishop Lamar Miller Whitehead, not Arthur Miller. Don't let that go over your head. Hashtag all of you hating Millers. So I will give you a little shine, but I'm really cutting off your lights. Now I will step off on you clowns." Not the man of God making online threats. Arthur's daughter, Lolisa, reached out to Eric since Eric was Lamar's mentor, and Eric told Lolisa to call him if she needed anything. According to Lolisa, she wanted to speak to Eric about Lamar's online behavior. But according to her, Eric never responded. Eric was getting a memo that this ninja was crazy. 6 months later, Lolisa reportedly had a conversation with Lamar, where she told him once again that she couldn't support his claims of being her father's son without any concrete proof. She told the New York Daily News that the exchange got so heated, she reached out to Eric again to see if he could step in and help rectify the situation. But according to Lolisa, Eric ignored her once again. Lolisa has made it clear that she is more than open to entertaining Lamar's claim that he's her half-brother. But over the years, he has been so combative. She told the New York Daily News, "It's about who you are as a person and how you treated us. That's why we don't want anything to do with him. Leave us alone. That's all I'm asking. I have nothing against Lamar. I don't know him. And to be very honest with you, I feel sorry for him." Yeah, because he a little cray-cray. Why won't this ninja just take a blood test? He a little cray-cray now. Ninja, if you never received an invitation to the cookout or the family reunion, if you never got a colorful t-shirt, purple, red, blue with white writing and a picture of the family on the back, you ain't in the family, ninja. You ain't in the family. They never sent you a registration form asking what size t-shirt you want for the family reunion.
Most people have no idea that in 2024, the best way to make money online is with the Apple.
You're not in the family. In November 2020, Eric Adams announced he would be running for New York City mayor. Following his announcement, 12 Democratic candidates began vying to be his successor as Brooklyn Borough president. One of those people just so happened to be Lamar. No, not this ninja.
Of
Sit your
course.
big ass down. Celebrities and musicians publicly supported him. George Floyd's brother, Terrence, who bonded with Lamar due to the similar tragedies they experienced, also endorsed Lamar.
My father was the first I can't breathe. He was the first one to be choked to death, man. Beat and strangled to death in 1978, man, by the 77th precinct. And then his brother, George Floyd, was just choked to death. And I told him, and I said, "Yeah, man, thank you, man. Your brother gave me justice, man."
So I want to, give a shout out to my man. You know what I mean? I totally respect him. I respect his story. I understand his story. He understands my story. So it's an automatic brotherhood right here. You know what I'm saying? He got my support all the way.
Do you think Lamar was on his best behavior during his campaign? The answer is no, according to the feds. Oh, Lord, here we go. Here we go. Girl, top off my margarita and put me some more sour peach rings in there. Thank you, girl. Thank you. The feds suspected that Lamar falsely reported to the city's campaign finance board that he received $22,000 of donations that were eligible for public matching funds. The New York City Campaign Finance Board's matching funds program matches every dollar from a local donor with up to $8 of city funding. That means Lamar was expecting to receive a 6-figure payout from the city to help cover his campaign expenses. The only problem with Lamar's donation tally was that the feds discovered he might have funded the donations himself.
He thought he was finna come up, y'all.
Prosecutors described his effort as an attempt to defraud the New York City Campaign Finance Board and steal funds from the city. In a strange twist, Eric didn't even endorse Lamar's ass during his campaign. However, Lamar continued to refer to Eric as his mentor, and he vowed to continue in Eric's footsteps if he got elected. In the end, the people of Brooklyn told Lamar to sit his ass down. Sit your ass down. Lamar came in last place in the Brooklyn Borough President race with just a little over 4,000 votes. Lamar moved on.
And y'all, PP ran as Lamar Miller Whitehead, and that man is not his daddy.
The bigger and better projects.
What's up, everybody? This is Bishop Lamar Miller Whitehead. The Lord just blessed me. I just bought a whole apartment complex, y'all.
5 months later, he began legal proceedings to evict the tenants.
Wait a minute now. Pump the damn brakes.
One tenant told the New York Post that his rent was $875. But when Lamar purchased the building, the rent was increased to $1,400. The tenant admitted he stopped paying to protest deteriorating conditions in the building. He also claimed there was no fire escape. The emergency doors were bolted shut, and his apartment had multiple leaks, roaches, and mice. Lamar proceeded with evicting the tenants despite reportedly defaulting on the $4.1 million loan he took out to pay for the apartment complex. That brings us to May 2022. A man named Andrew Abdullah was accused of taking the life of a man named Daniel Enriquez on the Q train. Andrew fled the scene and was on the run. In a strange turn of events, as if he didn't have enough things to worry about, Lamar decided to insert himself into grown folks' business. Lamar stated that Andrew's aunt was one of his parishioners, and she reached out to him for help. The plan was for Andrew to turn himself in to Mayor Eric Adams, and then they would arrange for Andrew to peacefully surrender himself to the authorities.
Eric said, now why am I in it? Bringing that mess up to my new job.
Andrew and his family eventually showed up at the Legal Aid Society offices on their own, and city marshals stole Lamar's shine by apprehending Andrew immediately. After that incident, people accused Lamar of being a clout chaser. You think? Now, let's fast forward to July 2022. During a sermon at his Brooklyn church, Lamar was robbed at gunpoint. The suspects took off with 6 figures worth of Lamar and his wife's jewelry. The robbery was also captured on live stream. Thankfully, no one was injured. The entire ordeal went viral. While some expressed sympathy for Lamar and his family, others thought it was a setup and an attempt for the bishop to file a bogus insurance fraud claim. Lamar later confirmed that only 3 of the 15 stolen pieces were insured. The robbery also put Lamar at the top of headlines, with media outlets calling him a bling bling pastor. The increased attention also put his past dirty deeds under a microscope. When people found out that he had been committing all sorts of alleged crimes for close to 2 decades, they really didn't think the robbery was legit. Days later, the woman named Pauline Anderson, who gave Lamar $90,000 to buy a house back in 2020, filed a lawsuit against him because he never bought the house and never paid her back.
Right, because he bought his own mansion, girl.
And then another parishioner came forward and said Lamar owed him thousands of dollars for work he performed during Lamar's failed campaign for Brooklyn Borough President. When asked about the allegations, Lamar told a website called Hellgate that he didn't even know the man. He added, "He's just another person that wants to get paid. People are clout chasing, man." Now, back to the robbery. Come to find out, it was real. 2 of the 3 suspects were apprehended in September 2022. A 3rd suspect was killed in January 2024 during a confrontation with U.S. Marshals. Upon hearing the news, Lamar hopped on Instagram Live and expressed his willingness to officiate the man's funeral free of charge.
Man, ain't nobody finna let you eulogize somebody that held you at gunpoint so you can get up there and talk about that man.
Who does that?
Once the suspects were revealed, Lamar felt vindicated. He told the New York Times, "Everybody thought that I was a villain, but now they're saying I was anointed by God."
No, Ninja, you still a villain, and that anointing is in God's back pocket, okay? You ain't getting none of that.
He moved forward with filing lawsuits against several online and radio personalities, including a pair of $20 million defamation lawsuits against YouTubers King Jives and Larry Reed for essentially calling him a scammer. Lamar said both men caused him to lose business deals, church members, and income. While all that was going on, in December 2022, Lamar was arrested for wire fraud, attempted extortion, and lying to the authorities. Prosecutors in Manhattan said he solicited money from victims through threats or false promises of enriching them. Then he pocketed the money. He also bragged about his connection to gang members in an effort to intimidate one of the victims. In one case, he falsely claimed he could use his political connections to make millions through a business deal. The allegations raised more questions about Lamar's relationship with Eric, who finally decided to distance himself from him.
About damn time.
FBI agents executed a search warrant for the bishop's mobile phones, and he told them he only had one. Well, that turned out to be a lie, and it was discovered that Lamar had 2 phones, one for the plug, one for the load. Lamar pleaded not guilty and was released on a $500,000 bond. If you thought this story was over, well, it ain't. In March 2023, a new indictment was filed against Lamar after federal prosecutors accused him of fabricating bank records in an attempt to finance his New Jersey mansion. According to the New York Post, Lamar altered the bank records to make it appear that an LLC he controlled had an average balance of more than $2 million. But in fact, the account had less than $10 in it. He was hit with an additional count of wire fraud. And then in May 2023, siblings who owned a piece of property accused Lamar of filing false paperwork to claim possession of a church building that was on the property. Lamar then allegedly attempted to unlawfully evict the congregation.
What?
The siblings are suing him for $3.5 million.
Listen, y'all, I think by far Lamar Whitehead is turning out to be the messiest of our series thus far. Oh my God, this is wild.
In damages, Lamar called the lawsuit frivolous. As of this video, the bishop is facing up to 65 years in prison. His relationship with Eric has all but disintegrated, and some sources report there's trouble in his marriage. Besties, this might be the craziest installment of our megachurch messiness series, and something tells us this isn't the last we'll hear from Lamar.
Now, besties.
Yo, that was wild. Oh my gosh. What viral moment are you speaking of, Tita? Because I'll definitely. Oh, so you heard about this guy before, Cassandra. This is my first time even hearing about this guy. Just, doing my little investigation because of this 9-year sentence he was recently given. Maybe you can go through his court documents on your show, because it sounds like it would be pretty interesting. And Gold Digger agrees with me by far. This is the wildest one. So listen, y'all, I have somebody did an interview with him. So let's hear from him and see what he had to say about what he has to say about himself. Oh yeah, okay. I will look that up, Tita. Hold on 1 second. Let me pull up this interview he did. Okay, here we go. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, here we go. Let me pull it back.
Hey, what's up, sis? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
I see the quote, bling, bling, Bishop. You have your Gucci on, Fendi.
Now it makes sense. The name makes head to the socks.
But
okay, so this is an interview that was done with Angela Yee. So let's get into it. Oops.
let's start with where we are today, and then I want to backtrack to, because I've met Bishop Lamar Whitehead some years ago. I actually did get a proclamation from you and your church. Thank you for that. And also we did a peace walk during the pandemic with our now mayor, Eric Adams. He was the Brooklyn Borough president at the time, and Fabio Foreign. So you've been active in the community, but you've also been in the news a lot.
Yeah.
So I want to have a real honest conversation today, but also maybe clear up some misconceptions and give you a chance to say your piece because you were just in the news. It says here, headline, New York City Bishop Lamar Whitehead faked bank records to finance his New Jersey mansion. So this is something that's happening in real time right now. According to these reports, it was a company and it said that you had a certain amount of $2 million, whatever, in these accounts, but it was really $10.
That's a contrast.
Mhm.
Well, you know, I can't really speak on things about the indictment. However, first, let me just say thank you for having me today. You're the first interview that I've taken after the arrest. I've declined so many interviews because the media becomes untrustworthy and they have no regards for not only myself, but my family, my church. And, you know, I have a wife, I have children, and this is the only reason why I had taken this interview because of who you are.
Right. And you have 3 children, right?
4.
4.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, 4. Yeah. Yep. So, you know, this is, and I want to speak clearly about this. This is an attack on a black man, right? And this is more a political attack. The world knows that myself and the now mayor Eric Adams are very close. He's my mentor. We haven't been that close within the last year or so because of this mass attack on my life. And you guys are going to see.
You hear what he said? He's calling this all a mass attack on his life. Anyway.
As things progress, that I'm collateral damage. I'm a young black pastor that come from a broken home. My father was beaten, strangled to death by 16 police officers because of the color of his skin. My mom raised me. I was sent away to prison back in 2008 illegally, fake search warrants and all different type of things that, you know, we black men have to go through. It's just the real just real life. We talk about how the police kill black men, but we don't talk about how court documents and court paperwork and prosecution kill black men. And they not only destroy us financially, but they kill our credibility. And this is what you're seeing happening to me right now. And I know as we go further in this interview, you'll be able to ask me questions that I'm a little upset. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
But
you've been going through a lot in the press. So I do want to give you the opportunity to have this platform and to be honest and transparent because, okay, so let's start at the beginning. You say your father was murdered by the police, right? And you were raised by your mom.
Yep.
And I saw that story also. There's an article in the New Yorker that details a lot of different things about you. And even in that situation, right, you didn't grow up knowing your father.
Yeah. No, I didn't know my father. I was 6 weeks old when my father was beat to death. And, you know, I did the research, Angela, because I'm a word studier. And I'm a researcher, and I did the research. I said, well, you know, if my dad died, right? I said, well, let me see at least if he was on Earth when Father's Day was here. Did I have the opportunity to at least see him on Father's Day? And he died June 14th, 1978. And Father's Day was June 18th, 1978. You know, and you know, I was even slandered with that where, you know, now I've became not a human being, but I became content. So the YouTubers and the bloggers, they have even reached out to some siblings on that side of my family. And for them to get clickbait, they want to call me a fake. They want to, so from every aspect of my life, every area I've been attacked, from my father, from me being a bishop, from me being an apostle, from me having my church, everything that I can be attacked by, I'm being attacked. Like there's nothing else. I'm talking about even.
He had the audacity to say that he's under attack. Seems like he's out here doing all of these attacks to me. But anyway.
Everything you name.
So growing up without a father is not easy, obviously. You grew up in Brooklyn.
Yes.
Okay. And so you did get into some trouble. You did get sentenced to 10 years and went to prison for 5 years. And that was for stolen identities, right? Yes. Can you detail what happened in that situation?
Yeah. So I was arrested by one of, if not the most racist counties in the world, Suffolk County. And I did almost 6 years in prison. I came home on a reversal. However, me and my attorneys during the appeals, we found so much information where the district attorney hid evidence from us. There were fabricated search warrants. It's so many things that happened in that case that that allowed me to be convicted because I went to trial. However, the question becomes, okay, I was found guilty of some of the counts, but the question becomes, if the district attorney has hid information from my attorneys, which would be exculpatory evidence, which I could be vindicated, and they hid that information, am I still guilty? But the world and the media, they stick to the guilty. And it's a process to unravel that. There is a whole legal process that I'm going through with that.
I will say, but okay, so when you were on trial, right? Before you went to trial, you were ordained.
Yes.
What made you decide to do that?
No accountability. Y'all peep this? Everything that has happened to him has been some sort of an attack on him. He has no accountability whatsoever.
God. That was just all God. I was in the ministry. My mom always brought me to church. But I would say, however, maybe a year prior to that, that was in 2006, I was just really into church, really hard, really, really stern. I was into real estate, had my own firm. I bought into a mortgage industry, or franchise rather. And, it was just phenomenal, so my spirituality, the Christianity balanced me. And I became a minister in 2007, and I just kept pushing from there.
And I want to ask you this because, I have a really good friend who she ended up going to prison, and she said it took her some time to take accountability for that she had done something that was wrong, and to just be like, okay, you know what, I'm in here, and I did. It was drug charges for her. Right. So for you, accountability wise.
Oh, I'm very big on accountability. My accountability doesn't have to be public. Right. My accountability is with God.
Oh, my God. Do y'all hear this? He said, my accountability does not have to be public. My accountability is with God. Wow.
And we're coming up to one of the most holiest months of the year, or the holiest days of the year. Resurrection Sunday is coming, and my Christ died for the remission of my sins, right? And I've done a lot of wrong in my life. If I didn't, I would be Jesus. So my accountability is between me and God. And if I offended someone or if I hurt someone, then yes, I'm going to beg your pardon, right? But just because the media has painted me to be not a victim, but a villain, I don't have to be held accountable to being a villain if I'm not.
Jasmine, you had a question?
Do you think that the public's perception, and you may not care, would be different if you were accountable publicly? Like if you said, hey, I will say that I'm guilty of, doing this, or I was wrong in this. Do you think the public's perception and the media's perception would be different if you took public accountability?
Well, I'm never going to take public accountability to a lie.
Right. No, I'm saying for things that you have done.
Of course.
Because back then when you did go to jail, but the charges, I guess, were identity theft and stealing people's, to get cars or whatever.
Well, to so that you understand what that was, right? And there's a lot of things that you guys don't know, but
he literally started stuttering, y'all. You can't make this up.
I think one thing that they said was actually removed or taken, but nothing to my knowledge was taken from me. As far as me, everything was attempt.
Okay.
Everything was attempt. See, you guys don't really understand the legalities of what actually happened.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah. So therefore, when you dig deeper, we have all these social media lawyers and everybody clickbait. They want to make it seem like they're correct, but they're not. I have the paperwork. I know what it is. And they were all attempts. If they would have gave my attorneys over the correct information, the indictment would have got thrown out.
So you're saying you're not guilty of any of those charges that they accused you of?
Of course.
You saying it was attempted, that you didn't actually get these?
So, like I said, we'll be here in a legal, I would have to really explain to it, but the charges that they charged me was illegal, period.
Okay.
They so we'll be here all day.
All right, so moving on from that, what was your time like?
If they were illegal, why didn't he attempt to sue them? Oh my God, I cannot.
While you were in prison for 5 years.
And were you ministering while you were there?
I'm so prison is different, y'all. Prison is really, really, really different. And when I say when you say ministered, I gave godly words to certain individuals. I wasn't preaching in the church. I gave godly opinion to certain individuals, because you have to understand that there's a lot, man. You got murderers, you got robbers, you got rapists or rapos. We call them rapos. Child molesters, we call them tree jumpers. And in prison, you have to understand every demonic spirit in the world is in one place, right? So you have to be very cautious and very careful who you open yourself up to. So, and I'm gonna be honest with you, prison is no joke.
Right.
And I beat people up. I had to beat people up.
So you were fighting in prison?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, and that's what, and that's where I think the disconnect is between the media accepting me as a bishop, right? I'm from Brooklyn. I fought. I'm a fighter, right? I'm not a person that has never been a floor mat, right? And when I was in prison, I fought. And I was my bench press was 425 and I was 190, right? I was strong.
So you could fight.
Right? Yes.
Did you ever lose? Did you ever lose a fight?
No. The one thing that happened to me, right, is funny.
He's 46, Tita. I just looked it up.
This guy had an issue with me, and he snuck up behind. He stole something from out of the security and hit me in the back of the head with a pipe. Right? We fought, but my blood was all over the place. That's a whole nother thing. Yeah, that's prison.
Right.
That's prison though. So but anything head up, I did what I had to do.
What was the hardest part of being away or doing all that time?
Missing my family.
Right.
I'm a family person. I love Christmas. I love Thanksgiving. I love, I'm a family oriented person. And, to not be able, because I only have one child during there. I only have my son. So to not be able to be a father. See, we were created to be fathers, right? To till the land. That's what the Bible says, to protect your family, right? So I wasn't able to be a protector. So what I was made to do, I wasn't able to do. and that was the biggest thing for me, right? Being in prison where nothing's going on.
Right.
And you have to understand, prison is a whole nother world. If you try to live in prison by thinking about what's out in the world, you will die. Right? You have to reconfigure your mind, right? And that's why a lot of people that come out of prison has either mental issues, psych issues, because prison is an abnormality. And prison tries to make your abnormality normal.
He talking about a whole lot of nothing, y'all. I haven't heard him answer one question. Not one. And maybe I missed it. I've been sitting here listening with y'all, but I haven't heard him legitimately answer one question. Not one.
So then when you come out to normality, right, it becomes abnormal, right? So, when people see me on either social media and I come right back at, they're like, you're not no bishop. No, I'm a human being, right? Like that punk DL Hughley, right? He's a stone cold punk, right? And he used the platform of my church being robbed to sit here and push his numbers up and demonize me. But now when they caught the people, or 2 out of the 3 people that robbed my church, right? He's gone.
Well, let's talk about that for a second for people who don't know, because that went viral, right?
Did it?
And that had to be a horrifying day, because not only did you get robbed in church, life was in danger, your wife as well, and everybody that was in that church, right? But then afterward, it became a joke for people.
Yep.
Okay, and people didn't believe it. They thought it was an insurance fraud scheme. So talk to me about that day and what was going on in your mind when that happened.
It was, if not, I think it is the most treacherous thing to ever happen to me in my life, right? And, to be preaching and to see men come into my church with hoods, because I can see them before anybody can see them, because I'm facing that way. And I see them, and when I see, like, I'm Brooklyn, right? And when I seen them with the hoods, my everything in me became upset, and I just said, nah. I said, they got me, and I was mad. I was mad. However, I still had to be a leader, and I knew if I jumped, my church was going to jump. I knew it. So I'm thinking within split seconds what to do. And that's when y'all see me just say, okay. And my church don't know what I'm talking about.
Right, because they can't see.
Because they can't see, but they're going to follow me. And when I say, okay, I'm pretty much telling my church, like, yo, follow my lead. Follow my lead. And I say, all right, okay. Like, I'm getting down, right? And that's when you guys.
I'm sorry. I'm like, y'all, I really, in my heart of hearts, feel like he had something to do with that robbery, because come on now.
See me get down. And then when my church turned around, it's like a wave. They all fell because these dudes came in with guns. And I'm looking, and I've never been robbed in my life. Well, okay. let me second that. When I was in 8th grade, right?
Well,
no, excuse me, 6th grade. When I was in 6th grade, this 8th grader robbed me. I was in the back of the staircase going down to my class, and I had a bunch of change in my pocket. So I'm running down, and my change jiggling. And this 8th grader took me in the corner, bigger than me, and punched me in my face and took my change.
Something you'll never forget.
Right. He's saying it like it just happened yesterday. But back to the current one. What is there what lesson did you learn outside of that entire experience of, you being robbed in front of, in the backlash and
oh God.
What's the biggest lesson you learned from that whole experience?
Anyone with $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans may qualify for help from National Debt Relief. Minimum payment.
The biggest lesson, there's so many lessons, but the biggest lesson that I've learned is to love my family closer, to be more closer to my family, because
anything could have happened.
And anything could have happened. And for these guys to come into my church and do what they did, they had no morals. And when I was on the floor and I'm looking up because my wife is in front of me, and I see this dude with a gun to my wife's face, right? And he had the gun to her face. And my daughter is in my wife's hand. So my daughter was 8 months at the time. So my daughter's sitting on her right side, and the gun is in my wife's face. So he was very specific on taking what he wanted to take off my wife. And then he wanted my wife earrings. So he switched the gun and put it in my daughter's face.
Ooh.
Oh my God.
See, people don't even understand how traumatizing
exactly,
that is.
Right. So I'm watching this.
And knowing you can't do anything because it could have ended up making somebody get killed.
I'm watching this, and I know how I'm built. I know I'm not no sucker. I ain't never been no sucker. And I know how I'm built. And for these dudes to violate the church. Now, there's a code in the streets, right? You don't go in no church and violate, and you don't violate no women and kids. And you don't touch no mothers.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here and I can't get up now.
Yeah.
I'm already down. Not to mention that there's another guy. They had different positions in the church that people didn't see.
Right.
The church was positioned and there was guns out. So once I'm down, I'm down. If
it's not just about you, it's everybody's lives.
Yeah, it's about everybody now. So after he takes my wife's jewelry, then he comes up to me and he has the gun over my head and he starts to take my jewelry, all my jewelry off. And I had, he took a few chains off, but then I had one of my huge Cubans underneath, right? And he started tapping my back, because it was Communion Sunday too. Mm-hmm. So I had my collar on. So he started tapping my back. And he said, where's that? Like he knew.
So yeah, they knew what they were looking for.
Like he knew. Mm-hmm. And then he felt it.
They knew because you told them.
And then he grabbed the back of my neck and start yanking me. So if you see the video, you'll see my neck going like this. So he trying to pop my my clergy collar and pop my chain. But you're not popping that chain. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You're not popping that chain. This chain is a kilo of gold and it's over 100 carats. So you're not popping that chain. You're not popping the chain. So he was like, take it off. Now he got the gun to my head. So I took it off and I gave it to him. And then another one of his guys came and started patting my pockets. And then they ran. So immediately when they ran, right, I got up and I went right behind them. Right? I went right behind them. But I was cautious. I went right behind them.
Now, who wouldn't stop and check on their wife and their child first? That's weird.
And I'm seeing where they are. So now when you go out of my sanctuary, you can see the window. So I see them outside of the window and they like this. They don't know which way to go. So I'm like, all right, cool. In my mind, I'm saying to myself, and can I be honest? I'm saying to myself, I'm going to go jump in my truck and I'm going to run them over. Mm-hmm. That's in my mind. Right. In my mind. You know what I mean? So I go downstairs and I forgot my keys. It's in my bag. So I send my adjutant upstairs to get my key. And I see them run down the block. So I know that I'll be able to catch them. So I jump into my car. My deacons jump into the car and I'm driving and they disappeared. So I said, I know they couldn't go that far. I know you can't go that far. So I turn the corner and I'm looking. I'm like, I know they couldn't come that far. So I'm not worried about them shooting at me. I want to just run them over. Mm-hmm. I want to run them over. You know what I mean? So I'm driving up and down. So I'm in the Cullinan Rolls Royce, driving, looking.
At one point, do you call the police? Because this is a wild story.
Looking. So now some of my viewers had all called the police. Anyway, so I'm looking for them. I didn't find them. So I come back around and then I see all the police on the corner of the block. And I said, what's going on? So an eyewitness said that they saw the guys jump in the car and get out the car. They changed the car. So I must have drove by the car.
Oh, okay. Not knowing.
Just not knowing. So I know you want to go into more things.
And there's still one person at large,
there's
right?
still
Did
one
you
person.
Did you know any of them? Do you think you
No.
recognize them from anywhere?
No.
Okay.
That was my
Because I feel like the
question.
story that
Where
2 of
was
them
his
got
security?
apprehended wasn't as big as the fact that people thought it was fake.
Right. So everybody for 2 months, Angela, 2 months destroyed me, killed me for 2 months. He set up the robbery. He did this, and I couldn't talk about it because I didn't know nothing about it. I didn't know, and the federal prosecutor and the federal agents was saying, Bishop, please don't say nothing. This is under investigation. We're going through this. We're going through that. We know who they are. This,
and I know it's hard for you to not say nothing. I know you was like,
yo, man, so.
Let me ask you this though: being a bishop, do you forgive them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, heck yeah. Yes, I forgive them wholeheartedly.
You forgive D.L. Hughley?
I forgive him, but I don't forget. D.L. Hughley, let me tell you something. He's a punk, right? And we all know that.
Why do you say that?
Because he's a clown. How do you not do the research? How do you not do the research? So he wanted me, he wanted me on the show, right? And my team told me, they said, yo, his team said he doesn't like you. I said, no problem. No problem. I said, why does he like me? He doesn't know. So I went on the show. I was on the phone. They did me on the phone, and he was just mad and nasty. I said, brother, look, man, if we're gonna have a conversation, let's be respectful. And he was like, no, you deserve to get robbed. You robbing the people. I said, what?
All right, well, let's get away from that for a second and let's talk about that. So now there's the parishioner who's saying that you took $90,000 from her. She was trying to get some real estate advice from you. She thought she was investing. And then now that comes out in the news after this.
Right. So now, right, you're going to see that she was never a parishioner.
Mm-hmm.
She was never a member of my church. Once again, the media is going to portray it to be something it's not. She was never.
They said,
and I'm hoping her pastor would.
They said her son was a member of his church. The lady that he took the $90,000 from and promised the house. They never said that she was one of his parishioners, did they? I didn't hear anyone say that.
Step up. I know.
How did you know her?
So her son was a part of my ministry.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right. Her son was my assistant.
Okay.
And her son wanted to be involved with real estate because that's what I do. And I helped her son get their first house.
Okay.
I helped her son, and I helped them with him and his wife. I married him and his wife.
Okay.
They was very close to me. And what this is a dysfunctional member, which is her son, that's upset that I had to remove him out of my ministry.
Okay.
Right. So his mother invested into him. He invested into.
So he invested on behalf of his it was his mother's money.
Listen, from my understanding, right? His mother, that was their thing. It ain't my thing. Right.
But what did they give you the money for? To invest in real estate?
To invest in real estate, right? However, and I can't really get into it, but it's like he took a lot of the money because he couldn't afford his lifestyle, which I was okay, no problem. But y'all gonna see all that come out.
Okay.
My thing is
Are there charges in that situation, or is that just an accusation?
So what they have done is they've changed, because this was a civil matter for I think going on 2 years now. So now they changed it to a criminal matter, and that's what we said. So my attorney saying, like, how do you change a civil suit into a criminal matter? Right? It's like, whoa! But the media and everybody is going to portray it. Oh, the parishioner, you took the old lady's money.
Well, that's what she said, though. She said didn't she say she was she's part of your church?
No, where did she say that?
Okay,
I've never.
Okay, now let's move on to the next thing. Then there was a situation, back to the mayor, where you orchestrated for a man who murdered someone to turn himself in.
That's where it all started.
Okay, talk about that.
Yeah, that's where it all started, and that's what everybody's missing. Everybody's looking at the robbery. Everybody's looking at this federal indictment. But where all of this stuff started, it started in the month of May when I got a phone call from a person that follows my ministry. And at once, I believe they was members. I was close to their family. I believe I did about 2 funerals for their family, whatever. So they knew me. And they called me and said, Bishop, we need your help. Fast forward, I said, what's going on? She said, my nephew is wanted by the police. It's national. They're saying that he killed somebody on the train. So I said, all right, I'll call you back. Let me check this out. So I get on the I get on internet. I said, wow, oh my goodness. So I call her back. I said, look, what's going on? So she said, well, they're kicking in all these doors and I don't want him to die. I said, well, listen, you got to follow my lead. I'll help you, but you got to let me know what's going on. So she said, he's a good kid. I didn't know the young kid. But he said, he's a good kid. He's this, he's that. I said, no problem. So I got off the phone and I called the mayor and I said, Eric, I said, look, this young man who's all over the news, who they're looking for, his family just reached out to me. I said, listen, I need your assistance.
Let me see here. Tita said, did she get her money? Not to my knowledge. She never got her money. However, I think that he is being that the sentencing for the 9 years, one of the counts, or I don't know how many counts it was, but one of the things that he's being sentenced for was the stealing of her money. So I just wanted to interject there and say that.
To be there when I turn this young man in so he don't die. I don't want him to die.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So he said, all right. He said, all right, Bishop, let me know what you need. So then I called some other NYPD top officials and they were saying, Bishop, we will, if you want us to bring a van, we will bring a van. We will make sure that he doesn't get, they said everybody, so many different NYPD commands. I'm talking about so many commands start calling me saying that Bishop got the shooter. So anyway, I told them, I said, look, follow my lead so you'll be all right. Fast forward, this legal aid who he had wanted to get a name. So she convinced them to reroute from me to go to her. And I told him, I said, I don't think you should go to her office because you're wanted. And I said, if you don't think they're sticking out her office, you're crazy. I said, meet me at the 5th precinct. Everybody's here already. I'm going to walk to you and you're going to be able to turn yourself in. I get a text. So I pull up in front of the 5th precinct and I pull up in the Rolls Royce Cullinan. And I was already dressed for the day. So I had a Fendi blazer on, a Fendi suit, Fendi shoes, and some pants. So I get out the car and media went crazy. And so I got a text from the mother and she said, please meet us over by the lawyer's office. And I'm like, oh my goodness, y'all switching stuff up. Y'all. So I had to leave. I drove around the block like 4 times to make sure that I wasn't followed because I didn't want this kid. I didn't want them to start shooting.
No wonder he got indicted. No jury would believe this story. He cannot be serious.
Anyway, I'm waiting for him at his attorney's office. When I get to the attorney's office, we're waiting. He pulls up maybe 15 minutes later, and I come outside to meet him because I seen his mother walking first. And I said, where's he at? She said, he outside. So I'm going through the double doors and boom, all of the police, guns out, put him on the floor. So I was very upset that happened. I get back to the precinct and that's when they start saying turning. Bishop Whitehead failed to turn the guy in. And that's when the whole story changed. Bling, bling, Bishop. That's where we get. So
you feel like you're being targeted because I've seen some of this paperwork. All right. So why would the FBI be targeting you?
Well, if you read the New Yorker, right, there's somebody in the New Yorker that has came out and
he was recording conversations with you. So now there's a person, Brandon Belmonte, right, that was all in this article. And he said that you were saying that you had an in with City Hall. You could get all kinds of deals done for him. You could get him access, but you were trying to extort him for money.
So I was now that I understand what's going on, I was set up. This guy that you just spoke of is a known con man. And it's so crazy to me. Yes, he's a white man. He's a white man. And it's crazy to me how the media is protecting him. Nobody's talking about him. Nobody. And if everybody can Google me, all you got to do is Google him. And you guys are going to see it all come out that I was set up, that this whole story and this whole narrative was set up, because you're going to find out that there's a whole lot of paperwork going around that he's a whistleblower. And what the streets are telling me now, since he did that, is, you know, he's a known informant. And I didn't know him. I don't know him. I knew him. I met him probably.
Right. And he blew the
fixed my
whistle
wife's car.
on you.
He asked me to rent one of my.
So he owns an auto body shop.
Yes. Yeah, he owns an auto body shop. And, you know, he fixed my wife's car. He overheard me being into real estate. He told me he's in the real estate, and he made me a project. And listen, I just got through running for borough president, 2 years ago. Nobody bothered me. The feds didn't bother me. Nobody bothered me. Now, all of a sudden, this white man set me up, and he's setting me up. And at the end of the day, so with all of these things that's coming out, right? Everybody's saying, well, the feds conviction rate is 98%. True. However, if it's based off of a lie, then what?
Why do you think he's setting you up? What's his motivation?
I believe he has other criminal charges.
Okay.
And he's trying to work it off.
Gotcha.
And if you do the research, ever since that article came out, over, I think, 6 to 8 victims of his, where he stole over $2 million. I'm talking about these Hasidic Jews from upstate. They just called me. I can show you their message. They called me, they texted me and said that he has stolen over $600,000 from him, cash. And he has placed over 16 cars in their names that he was renting, and he took the cars. And this is what he's doing. I got calls from Florida. He stole from a young Caucasian man in Florida, $120,000. There is people in New York. Bro. So he's stealing money. And what he's doing is, as far as what they're telling me, these victims, the victim is saying that he's sending pictures of fake wires, and he's sending pictures of fake checks, saying that he's deposited in it, but then calling and canceling the check. He's doing so much. When everybody sees this, right? And if they do the research on who he is, why didn't the New York Times post anything about him? Why didn't the Daily News post anything about him? Why didn't the New York Post? The Post called my attorney and said, what is Bishop Whitehead's comment? I said, not guilty. Oh, by the way, why aren't you doing a story on that gentleman? Mm-hmm. You don't see that in the Post, because they're protecting him. For what reason? I don't know.
Well, I only heard about him in this article in particular.
Exactly.
But, okay, so listen, I know we have to get this show started, but I do want to say I appreciate you for coming through. Now, as far as you and everything that's going on, everything you feel, do you feel confident that you will get these charges dropped and that everything will be fine? You won't have to go back to jail, because you are facing charges that have a significant amount of time attached to them.
Yeah, I believe that my attorney and my attorney my attorneys Don Florio and Brian Ponder, they're doing an amazing job, and I believe that we're going to get the victory. You know, and however, what I'm asking is the first Black district attorney of the Southern District to reevaluate this, right? Reevaluate, right? Because I'm African American. I could be your brother, right? I could be your son. Reevaluate this. Look at how this thing started, right? Look at how this thing started. And I think everybody should reach out to, I think his name is Damian Williams. I believe his name is.
I saw that.
Yeah, Damian Williams. Look into this. Just look into this, because if the person is a liar, then the perception is going to be a lie, and reality is going to be a lie. I'm asking him to look into this, because I am being targeted, because the mayor of New York is being targeted, and it's the Bishop Whitehead and the mayor of New York City is being trying to be trapped and set up by the real con man. And I just want my life back, Angela. That's it. I want my life back.
Right.
You know, and that's it. I want my life back. People are running from me because of these charges. I want my life back.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming through. And I'm glad that you had the platform to tell your side. I know people look at you, they're like, why is a bishop wearing all this designer stuff? Why does he have $1 million worth of jewelry, et cetera, et cetera? But I feel like none of that is significant when it comes to what it is that you're dealing with here.
Mm-hmm. Well, I just want to say this. I know because you have to go, but let me tell you this. I've done so much work in the community, and I'm doing so much work in the community. That's how we met. I do things in the community, and all of that's overshadowed. And they have turned me from a victim to a villain. And I think that they should change the narrative and understand that I'm a young Black man that's striving just like anybody else. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Coconuts in the chat. If you think the Bling Bishop is guilty, coconuts in the chat. I think he deserved to be under the jail, personally, after hearing all of this. Yes, Tita, I see those coconuts. Hey. Well, guys, I really okay. Tamika put her coconuts in the chat. I really appreciate you guys. Cassandra says she on her computer, but she putting her coconuts in. All right, we're gonna count your coconuts too. I really appreciate you guys taking this wild ride for me. And while I was doing my thank you for your coconuts, Babs. While I was researching this guy, I came up on another wild story. So we'll try to do this again tomorrow at 3 p.m. All things considered, nothing crazy comes up in my work day. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Episode 5 of Messy Ministries with the Bling Bishop. And if you didn't hit the like button on your way in, do me a favor and hit it on your way out. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.